All right. We are live.
Is there any way we could get the light bulb out of the shop? No?
No, it
Okay.
was in there last time.
I know, I remember. It's all good.
Going a little earlier today, so I know people are probably like, "What's going on? Wasn't
Huh.
expecting you this early."
So why are we going so early? I mean, we could do it at the regular time.
You wait till I press the button to say that.
You can start over, can't you?
Yeah, but no, we're not doing that. We're gonna go from here and keep it pushing. So last week when we were talking about some other things, uh becoming a grandmother came up. So I thought it would be cool for us to have that talk today.
Hi, cynical one.
And that's what we're going to talk about. But before we get into that, let's just have some let's catch up what happened since last week. Anything you want to tell the audience about your week
The
or
week was
going into the
had.
new week?
Nothing in particular.
I want to talk about how my allergies have been kicking my ass.
Oh, I'm so glad I don't have allergies. Knock on wood.
I was driving to work with tears rolling down my face. My ears been scratchy. My eyes been itchy. I've been sneezing a lot and sniffling. Had a roll of toilet paper at my desk. I just don't like it. It's so miserable. And then when you go into an office where it's cold, it just exacerbates the misery. So I think that's all I really want to talk about my last week. I'm looking forward to this week though, because it's a short week because of the holiday. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday I'm working, and then the rest of the week I'm off. So hopefully I'll find something fun to do with the rest of my week and with the weekend. Um, I don't know if we'll do a show next weekend, holiday weekend. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not gonna make any promises.
I know you lying. Did you see that?
No, but I heard it.
Sorry. Okay. We're
She was talking
live.
to the cats. Um,
Sorry.
that's okay. I'm sure they don't mind. I'm sure they can understand what it's like having cats. Samuel Isaacs. I don't know who Yoya the tutor is, but
And it's with a H.
thank you. I've been telling these folks, please don't forget my H. And they still forget it. Folks will be in my chat and other people's chat saying hello to me and still spell it Toya. It's Toyah for those of you who are unfamiliar or just have never met somebody with a little extra. Because I am Toya, like many of the Toyas you may know, but I'm a little bit more extra because I have an H.
It's not because she has an H. She's a little extra because she's a little
You
extra.
named me,
I sure did.
and then what happened?
You
This is how
became
I this
extra.
is how I became. Yeah. So anyway, um we just came from getting some ice cream and we were in the car talking about I wonder if anybody in the chat is thinking the same thing I'm thinking. I think Cardi B's pregnant again.
Oh, and I'm like, oh my God, I hope it's not
I, the
the
basketball
guy
player,
who
right?
she's allegedly
Yeah,
dating.
yeah.
And I also hope it's not Offset. So I hope she's not pregnant.
But she looks it. Like the pictures that have
But tell
come
them what
out.
else we said.
Well, before I get to that, the pictures that have come out of her recently doing performances, she's very much wearing what they like to put folks in when they're trying to conceal a pregnancy. It hasn't been any form-fitting stuff. It's been very billowy. Very let's put a tie around the smallest part of your waist and let everything else flow. And so when she turns to the side, you can kind of see let me pull up what I'm talking about for reference. But yeah, so then I also said it might be postpartum weight that she hasn't gotten off yet, which is possible also. But because of how much weight she has gained as a result of having children and along with the plastic surgery, it might be a mixture of the two.
Yeah, I think it might be the latter.
Yeah. And that's fair.
Excuse me.
So while my mom takes that call and while I pull up what I'm talking about, tell me if you think that there's some truth to that. Because if you've seen what I've seen, then you might be thinking what I'm thinking. Hold up.
Sorry.
All right, so here's this picture. There's a recent picture of her at Rolex. And you see how she's got
Her sarong is protruding a little bit.
yeah, there's a little protrusion there. It makes me think that maybe salutations Detroit 313. Let me pull up that screen so y'all can see what I'm seeing.
But it doesn't really
It's not
look like she's pregnant.
it doesn't, but a case could be made. That's all I'm saying.
I think it's the weight or the repositioning of fat that was removed from her. I told my daughter, maybe, how long has it been? 15 years ago, I had a tummy tuck. I'm not afraid to say. And one of the things they don't tell you about is how whatever they take from you gets transferred someplace else. Your body doesn't understand that all of that fat was removed, thinks it's a mistake, and begins to like put it in other places, and you gain weight. And that's what it looks like to me. But if she's pregnant again, oh God, she just gave birth.
Yeah, I don't think that baby's even a year old yet.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I don't know. But speaking of giving birth, let's jump into you.
Me?
Mm-hmm. Not that she's giving birth, guys,
yeah,
but that was one of the topics we were going to talk about today.
Yeah.
Toya, I remember early on, I was really excited about becoming a grandmother, but as time went on, it became very clear to me that Toya wasn't going to give me any grandchildren.
That I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have kids. I've talked about it on my channel before, but I saw firsthand what my mom was going through raising me as a single mom. And the thought of me having to do that was far away from where I saw myself being. And so from a young age, when I started learning about sex and what sex entails and what are the consequences of having it, I was like, no, not interested. When I saw what it like, when they wheel that TV into the classroom and they show you what the act of childbirth is, I was deathly afraid of that. So it was two things. It was me seeing how my mom had to struggle to raise me, the things that she had to endure, and then seeing the physical aspect of it turned me off completely. Did not want to do it, no parts of it. Oh, I have the option of not doing this. I'm going to do that. And so, yeah. So, but when I was in my most long-term relationship to who I was engaged with, that was when my mind started to change. I knew my mom wanted to be a grandparent, but it wasn't until I was in that relationship and I started to think about the possibilities of doing it the quote unquote right way that I started to soften up on actually having children and being like, well, you know what? If I'm married and I have a husband who will be the father, an active role in that parentage, then maybe it's not such a bad thing. That relationship did not materialize, nor did having a child, but it was also during that relationship that I found out I would not be able to have children naturally because I had an ectopic pregnancy. And I think you forgot about that.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
We just talked about
That's
it.
why I'm saying that, because of what we just talked about.
No, I didn't forget about that.
Okay.
I was there.
Technically you were there, but what you said to me yesterday was I blocked it out.
I was going through a dark time in my life that I'm not going to share right now.
Yeah,
But
all I'm
yeah,
saying
I
is
blocked
that
it out. So
when it came time for me to actually have a hysterectomy, this was years later, because when I was in my 20s is when I had an ectopic pregnancy and found out, oh, at that time, hey, you are not going to be able to naturally conceive because this is what happened the first time. Your first try out, this is not the way it's supposed to go. You know, had the methotrexate shot, whatever. I put it in the back of my mind though, because I still felt like I was young and I was like, I still have time. Like, this isn't a thing, whatever. So then when I started considering that it may not be a possibility, but also that you wanted to be a grandmother, that was even more why I think I kind of didn't want to learn any more about what was going on with me. It was just like, oh, well, kind of, if it happens, it happens. It never became a priority. But then by the time I was in my 30s and my experiences with menstruating became more severe, then it's like, okay, I have to have a hysterectomy. What was crazy about that when I found out was talking to you about your experience. I don't want to speak for you. I don't want to bring out anything you don't want to talk about, but
what are you asking?
I'm not asking anything.
Oh.
I'm saying we both had one. And so, I think
for me, having a hysterectomy was different than you having a hysterectomy, because a hysterectomy really shut it off for you. I had already had a child, so it's the same surgical procedure, but it's very different. Very different.
Sure. And I think a lot of people assumed that it wouldn't have the effect that it did have on me because I so early on was like against having children. But when the choice was taken from me, it very much left me feeling sad. It left me feeling like a part of my womanhood was taken from me without my permission.
And you never considered that?
No.
I don't know. For me, that could be shocking because you are such a deep thinker. So to make such a statement and not consider the implications,
it wasn't real until it was real. And
so let that be a lesson to us all. Be careful what you put in the universe, because you say it enough. It actually becomes.
Yeah.
That's why they say manifestation is real. You can manifest really bad things and good things, but the more you pour it out there and speak it into existence, the likelihood of it happening. Yeah. So let that be a lesson to you. You can say right now, I don't want to have kids, but just to go on and on and on about, I don't want to have kids because this.
But also, I would say too, if I could go back, if you have a young lady in your life who is saying these things, maybe have the conversation about why and isolate that there are other possibilities than maybe what she's considering. Because I think if someone had that conversation with me, I might have changed my mind. Not to say that my life would have turned out any different, but I think, to your point about manifestation and choosing your words, maybe I would have stopped saying it. Maybe I would have.
What would that conversation look like, Toya?
It would
because
look like
I did have conversations with you.
Conversations that you couldn't have. What I mean is, if you are someone who knows a young lady who is saying that, maybe put her in position to talk to people who can explain to her there are many ways to go about having children. There are many ways that it could come about. The outcome doesn't have to look like your own childhood. That's what I mean.
Okay.
If you don't have any other examples, then it doesn't necessarily drive home the point that you don't have to repeat what you saw. And that's what I mean. A lot of why I didn't want to have kids is because I was like, man, I don't want to be young and having a kid and having the world looking at me like I don't have no business having a kid this young. That was a lot of what you dealt with. I didn't want that.
So you don't have to have a kid. I don't know.
I didn't know
can't
that.
have this conversation with you on live, Toya, if I'm being honest.
Well, I'm just putting it out there that that's what it was. It was a lot of me not feeling like mine could look any different. And so if you had the opportunity, especially like as I got older and talking to people and also being friends with people, watching them raise kids, it's like, oh, wow. Like, okay, this can be done in a way that doesn't emotionally tax one person more than the other. If two people are actually doing it together and, you know, there's resources otherwise, I think that conversation should be had, especially when you're in your teens, early 20s, talking about you don't want to have kids. Because I do believe that as women, that is our biological imperative, notwithstanding health. So anyway,
yeah,
you're not being a grandmother is something I wish I could have given to you. And it does bother me. It's something that I think about, maybe not so often anymore, but it is something that I think about, because when you're talking about legacy, when you're talking about even the things that Nana passed down to you that maybe you like or don't like, for better or worse, it's who you are. Right. And so I would love to be able to connect with you on some of those things based on having my own child and you being a grandmother. Like we were saying in the car earlier, there's stuff that I won't never understand because I just don't have the capacity to. I'm not a mom.
You took a pause.
I don't want to do all the talking.
I'm actually happy that I don't have grandchildren right now. I never pushed Toya when she was adamant and gave a hard no about not having children. That just meant I would be freer. As I age, I can focus more on myself, which is something that I've never had the opportunity to do. So I started looking at the positives in not being a grandparent. Another reason I'm glad that I'm not a grandparent is because of the climate in which we're living right now. I wouldn't want to be raising a child in this America today. Our future does not look like something positive right now. So if I'm being honest, the past 10 years, I've said to myself very, very often, I'm really glad I don't have a grandbaby, because I was a helicopter mom. I would be worse right now as a grandparent. So
Think so?
I would be very protective. I would be yes, I do. Social media influence. There's so many things that have been taken away from kids. Actual art of socializing, getting out and speaking and being in conversation with people is a lost thing. Being so connected all the time digitally, whether it's your cell phone, the internet, that's just too much. It is really the dumbing down of America. And I'm not for that. And I'm just glad that I don't have to contend with that when it comes to a grandchild right now.
I think that's a good word, contend with, because it's not like you can skirt it. You have to contend with it, because we are all using technology. We're all in our phones.
Yep.
So how can you then raise a kid to be like, put that phone down, put that tablet away? You know, I can imagine that it would be difficult.
Yes, Gregory, let's get Toya to 1,000 subscribers.
And then, yeah. Yeah, I'm not a huge, I don't promote myself. I got like 700 and something subscribers, and I'm really grateful for all of you. I am. But I'm not like, oh, like let's get there. Like I've always been a proponent of it happening organically. Especially while I figure out this whole live streaming thing and what my niche is going to be. Even with us doing this, we're still trying to figure it out. So,
yeah, and this is a good time just to chime in on that. If you're at all interested in this dynamic, what would you like to see us talk about? What would you like to hear from the perspective of a mother and daughter?
Yeah.
A young mother and daughter.
Yeah.
Shoot some ideas our way.
We would love your feedback.
100%. And somebody asked I wanted to ask, is BGS?
Yeah.
There's a difference. What did you mean? There's a difference. What? I didn't mean to bypass your statement or your comment.
Hold on, let me post the link if he wants to ask us directly, because that would be a good conversation to have. I forgot I can't use regular keyboard shortcuts. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's still meat left on the bone for me in terms of in having a child versus not having a child. There's a difference in having a child versus not having a child. Yeah.
Oh, most definitely.
I feel like too that because the majority of women are childbearing, whether they're mothers or not. Some, because just because you had a child doesn't mean you're a mother, right? I feel like I'm part of the minority in that I'm this age and have never given birth. But that perspective gets shunned a lot because it's not the majority. It was something that you said in the car that made me think that way about just the fact that I lack the perspective of what it feels like to be responsible. But what about those of us who just have never had that experience? How come that perspective isn't considered a lot?
I don't know what you mean.
So what I mean is, because you've been a mother all my life and most of your life, that's all you know. You don't know the perspective of becoming a woman but not having a child to show for it.
I kind of do, though.
Okay.
Because I was a mother so young, I became a woman as you became an adult. So I kind of, motherhood didn't really stick with me immediately. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's fair.
And my becoming a woman was not chronological. I started becoming a woman when I began to become a mother, like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just because I gave birth to you in 1981 doesn't mean I became a mother to you in 1981. Does that make sense? Being so young, I had to learn so many things. As I'm learning to be a mother, I'm trying to become a woman, right?
So it was infused together.
Yeah, so I kind of
you didn't have that separation of who I am as a woman versus who I am as a mother. It's all overlapped.
It did.
And that sucks. I think it sucks. Because
you can't miss what you never had. So
yeah.
I don't feel like it sucks for me because my experience is part of my journey. I'm kind of happy with my journey from the perspective of everything happens for me. Everything makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like it sucks. I don't.
In terms of personhood, like, it's like, dang, like who am I as a woman versus who am I as a mother? I'm
still learning. Just like you're still learning who you are as a woman.
Yeah. But I feel like there's a freedom in being able to do that without a tether, so to speak.
I'm doing it right now without a tether. I mean,
Who's gonna tell her?
Who's my tether? You?
Yeah.
No, like it's not. You're an adult now, so it's not the same.
And look where I'm
You're not the only one. You're not the only one, Toya. You make
I'm
it
an
seem like
adult.
this is.
I'm an adult without the adult trappings. I'm an adult still living on the teat.
No, she's not. Hi, Eddie.
That's why I said that. I'm
D.
like,
Scott, the process never ends. I hear that.
well, he's a parent too. I mean, like, again, these are things.
What does he have? A son or a daughter or both?
I'll let him answer that. But
Mr. Scott, do you have a son or a daughter or both?
Grab Second Gear Eddie is one of my day ones. Shout out to you, Grab Second Gear Eddie. But yeah, we really didn't have much else to talk about today aside from that because it came up, like I said, in the previous week. So I wanted to flesh it out for whatever we could flesh it out for, and just kind of give you guys a little bit further of a glimpse into how we dialogue. And when we were in the car today talking, my mom was like, this should be on the podcast. Because a lot of times when we have conversations off the cuff, they do become other things. And it's like, wow, that's interesting.
Grandparenting in the car? I thought it was something else I said that we should talk about in the next podcast.
No, there was. I'm merely making the point that when we were talking in the car, you were saying
3 kids, 2 sons, 1 daughter. Oh, you're over. Look, your kids are adults. Yeah.
But like you said, the process never ends.
Yeah. But so for your 17-year-old daughter growing up in social media today, would love to hear about that. I would love to hear about that.
I'm putting this.
That was always my fear. Like, oh my God, if I had Toya right now and she was in high school, what would that look like? I think she would be homeschooled and she would be under me.
Homeschooled? Lord,
I'm serious. I don't know. There's this paranoia.
She'd be in college already. She wouldn't be in high school. She'd be in college already. Actually, she would be in college already by that time. She's smart enough. She would have skipped high school.
Please don't tell her that. Enough of that. She knows how smart she is. She knows how intelligent she is.
High school is okay, because that's the thing that me and my daughter's mother had a problem with, because my daughter got bored with high school, so I was going to send her to college, but her mother convinced her to stay in high school. She'd have got a degree when she was like 19 or 20 instead of 23 when she got it.
And I can see it both ways. Let her stay where she is and be.
But they were considering skipping me.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, it's women are more protected of feelings. Like my saying is, your mother makes you feel better. Your father makes you better.
Yeah. Except for in my case, that wasn't the case.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you don't have that experience.
Yeah. They let the kid fly as high as the kid can fly. So because my daughter, she would fail a class in high school and then go to summer school in college and pass it. So that makes sense. So why do you need to be here? Let's go ahead and put you in college. And me and the counselor sat down and talk about it, set up a plan, and her mother didn't like the plan. So here's what it is.
How's she doing now?
She's fine. She got her degree. She got her kids. She's doing all right. All my kids are. The funny thing is, what I found out is most people, they tell you what they really want to be, and when they find out how much work it really is, they don't want to be that. Like my son, he wanted to be an NBA basketball player until he found out how much work it took. Oh, I don't want to work quite that hard.
That sounds about right. But you also got to teach them not to be afraid to do the work. I used to tell Toya that all the time. I gave her examples of what it looks like if you don't do the work.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the alternative. Either do the work now and elevate later, or don't do the work and be stuck. And this is
Mm-hmm.
what that looks like right
Yeah, well,
here.
yeah,
Don't be afraid of the work.
yeah, well, then they can't blame on being stuck on anybody else but themselves.
Facts.
So that's all I want. And then, okay, well, you didn't want to be that, so stop. Well, they don't cry to me about what they really want, where they are, because that's what they decided where they wanted to be.
Yeah, they're adults now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering who was the person with young kids. D. Scott, was it him?
No.
Oh,
Back in
okay.
1720. I want to
Oh,
get into
okay.
what he was saying too. He's in OV traffic. The way he said, the way my eyes rolled when you mentioned social media, it's like different layers of influence to have to cut through to get through.
Oh my
A
God.
good foundation helps a little bit.
It does, but that part,
Yeah.
D, that's what I'm talking about. The influence and the layers. And as a parent, just parenting alone is a whole thing. When you add in all of these layers of social media influence and how it almost makes your kids feel like they want to be an influencer, and like nobody wants to be
a kid.
A kid. Yeah. You know, another thing I was talking about with Toy, here's a good example. If there's anybody in here that likes Beyonce, oh well. I do not like the way Beyonce is thrusting her daughter, Ivy, Blue Ivy, in the forefront right now. She's not being a kid. The way that she's, I don't want to go too far into it, but it's too much too soon. And when does she get to be a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old?
She won't be. She won't be. Not a normal one. I mean, that's impossible. It's just like being the kid of a billionaire. You won't be.
So that's the thing. So
or like the Obama kid. The Obama kids were never normal. Yeah, the Obama kids were never normal.
But they're a little bit more grounded. There's a little. They kept them out of the limelight. They choose to not be in the forefront. Blue Ivy is being pushed. It feels like she's being pushed into.
She is now. She is now.
Right.
Yeah. Well, some
and
kids
there's Rumi too joining now, who's giving her hell. But my point is, let her be a kid. Why does she have to dress up in leather and lace and dance? Like, some of the outfits are appropriate. Some of them.
That's because all the kids, even the kids that are poor, are wearing that kind of stuff. So that's what they see.
That doesn't make it right.
I didn't say it was right. I mean, we can't go by what should be. Got to go by what is.
Right, because you're now up against their
peer. The whole culture is shifting that way. So and you don't have the power to move that big ass mountain. So it is what it is. Either you're gonna move in the middle of nowhere, like some people do, and I think what's the comedian's name? He lives in the middle of Ohio, in the middle of nowhere. Chappelle, yeah. That's why. Why do you think he lives there? And travels to because he wants to isolate his family. If that's what you want to do, that's what you have to do. Because if you're going to be inside a city, most people have to be, close to work. So that's the influence.
Yeah.
I got grandkids, so I know. That's the influence.
And he's really good with his grandkids.
So my question remains, with what Dee was saying about the layers that you have to navigate. So now you're in that with grandchildren. Do you take that on, or you leave it to the parents? Do you have influence over, or
when he was younger, up until now he's a teenager, so I don't have as much influence because his mother has taken over a lot of that because it's easier. But things when he was up until he was like the age of 10 or 11, it was mainly me.
Okay.
But you could still see that influence is long lasting though, BGS, right?
Oh yeah.
Because as he gets older, I'm sure he's still going to return to you.
Yeah, because he's in a dance troupe, Debbie Allen's dance academy, right? And he at home, he runs his mouth and brags on himself. And she said, "You can't do that when you get there." I said, "No, he learned that a long time ago. Okay, when you're, I taught him when he was younger. He was going through these little things." I said, no, I said, when you're in these events, you in these circles, you keep your mouth shut. You're there to learn. You're not there to brag or show off or something like that. Be the star. You're there to learn first. And he learned that really early. So I think he was like 9. He was in this particular troupe, and they had a problem with him talking. And I told him, I said, I'll take you out. Okay. So you're not, we don't have you in there to having fun is good, but things you're there to learn right now. And so he was, he was getting ready to talk in one session. He put his hand over his mouth. He remembered. So he remembers to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that look for?
Because that's the same experience I had when I first went away to college. I went away to college and I didn't know what to do with the freedom I had.
Mhm.
And my first semester, I was failing. And so my mom was just like, you don't have to do this, like
Mhm.
you're wasting a whole lot of money by going to this place and not going to your classes.
Mhm.
But it wasn't that I didn't want to go. It was literally me just trying to understand socially how to
Mhm.
navigate, but also the responsibility of showing up to class and what is expected of me.
Without somebody breathing
Right.
down your neck. That's the
Mhm.
whole point of college and staying on
Right.
campus.
Because
Yeah.
you never really had to ride me about
Nope.
doing my work or
No.
being a good student. I was a A+B student
Mhm.
throughout school.
True.
I loved school. But
Mhm.
when I got into this college atmosphere, it was very much like you said, like you're there to learn before you're there to partake.
In other words, they throw you, being in college, especially a 4-year college, they throw you into being an adult because nobody cares whether you come to class or not. There's
Right.
They're
nobody
still
take,
going to get their money.
there's,
Yeah.
there's nobody taking attendance. There's
That's
nobody
right.
looking out
That's
for your
right.
homework or checking anything like that. They don't care. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
They don't care.
That's
I mean,
absolutely right.
yeah. He don't know you from Adam, but may not even want to know you from Adam. Okay.
Nothing's
I'm
personal.
I'm here to give you the information. You're here to get what you're supposed to get and move along, right? And for most kids, you're not used to that, right? Because you're thrown into it.
Yeah.
And most parents don't prepare their kid for that. That's like I'm a proponent of sending and putting that kid out there early. Okay. In other words, I was saying is, in other words, me sending my daughter to college early means, okay, if you fail in college, okay, you're only 15, you can come back to high school. It's no big deal. No big deal. Okay. Well, you know what? I couldn't have college. I said, okay, what'd you learn? Well, I learned it was hard. I got to do this, that, and the third. Okay, write all that down. Okay. Do you want to go back or you want to come back to high school because you're only 15?
Yeah.
Okay, you got your wings burned. Okay, you float a little bit too high. Okay, come on back down and we'll
And
do it
that's
again.
all right.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
Self-awareness. That's what we were talking
Yeah,
about in the
that's what.
car. It's important to have that self-awareness
Mm-hmm.
and it be okay.
Yeah, because Theo Waff, he's teaching guys to be cloud engineers, and I'm saying, and they were taught about taking tests and being afraid of failing an interview and stuff like that. I said, I learned that in college. Okay, I would take an exam or a test just to take it and to see what was on it. Okay, I didn't care whether I failed it or not. I'm going to take it again. Okay, I'm going to take it again. So a failure, I was a chemist, right? It's an experiment. So I would take a test just to experiment and see, okay, what's on the test? How hard is it? What do I need to learn for the next time? Because people take failure so hard sometimes. It's, most rich people fail all the time. But the thing is, to them, it's an experiment. It's not a failure.
And when you have that safety net under you,
Mhm.
it makes you a lot more
Yeah.
willing to make those mistakes.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't matter. So you lost the part. Okay. So what do you have to do next time to get the part? Yeah.
I
For
can't
sure.
sit up straight because I'm cutting.
When my mother was raising me, she was definitely big on pushing me out there to get me to do things that I wasn't necessarily.
Yeah, out of the comfort zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm
so glad I did that.
Yeah, I am too. But the caveat is when I started doing it as an adult and her wanting to pull me back, and it's like, well, excuse me,
because you go too far.
No, there's no such thing at this point.
And sometimes there is. Sometimes you go too far and you can't
Yes.
see it. Yeah, and she sees it. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Thank you so much. That part.
That's the whole thing. What do they call it? Advise and consent.
And that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I don't know why I wouldn't do that if I was you, Toya. I see it. All right.
Some time will pass and she'll come to me and randomly start a conversation that ends up with, remember when dot,
Mhm.
dot, 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 dot. And it's like,
Mhm.
oh,
Well, I saw that coming.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, but at least I'm not.
Love that about her.
I was gonna
Love
say, at
that.
least I'm not afraid to do that. Like
yeah.
I do love that.
when I see things and I feel like I'm considering every angle and then I make my decision,
Mhm.
I'm making the decision based on what I think I see. And
Okay, and if your mother sees something different, what is she supposed to do? She's supposed to let you
yes,
know, okay, you know what?
yes,
I see what you're saying, but this is a little much. And if I
yes,
was you, like
yes.
like the old man on the corner, I wouldn't do that if I was you.
And there was a lot of that.
It's still that.
And this is what I hear all the time. Ma,
Mhm.
you think I don't know? You think I dot, dot, dot. And it's just like, now I just
Because
fall back. As long as
sometimes-
I say it,
Mhm.
she can fuss at me all she wants. I'm just like, okay.
Because
I just want-
sometimes I want her to lean on what she's taught me and realize that I'm already thinking a lot of the things that she's thinking
Yeah.
or has said because I can still hear it in my head.
There was a line in The Hustler. I think it was called The Hustler that I never forgot. Right? Okay. When he was training a young pool player, right, to play pool, right, and in one line he said, "I taught you everything you know. I didn't teach you everything that I know."
There you go. There you go.
I can see your mother's little face. Mhm.
Yeah. Because we just had a conversation about that. And I'm like, Mom,
That's what the face is. We
what are
just
you
talked
seeing
about
that
that.
I'm not seeing? What are you seeing that I'm not considering?
I
Because
have to remind her, like, everything that you do, I've done.
Mhm.
Everything that you're experiencing, excuse me, likely I've experienced. So when I say things, it's not to shut you down. It's like, oh, you might not want to do that. And I think we had that conversation last week.
yes.
And she's like, well, why do you always this?
And she's a Leo. She thinks she's right.
Oh, absolutely a right fighter. Absolutely. But a Scorpio, it took a long time for me as a Scorpio to learn to just,
Yeah.
I said what I said.
Mhm.
Because
I'ma
I
go
will
over
come
here.
back and be like, you know what, Mom, I was wrong. You were right. I'm
Mhm.
gonna still do it because
Yeah.
I still want to do it. But because I'm taking the
Yeah.
risk on me being an adult versus it's different when you're a kid and you still need your mom
She's
in certain ways.
well, you asked her advice, she gave you advice, and
Don't like it.
and
Why do you say
don't
that? Why you have to do girl?
you need what you're trying to say is step back for a second and look at it again, and stop being a Leo and rushing in and doing it anyway. Okay.
Leo sun, Leo moon. Okay.
Scorpio all over.
Mm-hmm.
And what does a Scorpio do to a Leo? What does water do to fire?
Put it out.
Yeah, puts it out. Yeah.
There's a lot of fire
tame it.
being put out over here.
Or tame it. Okay. That's the whole thing.
No, she be dousing the fire.
I sure do.
Okay, the thing is that basically, fire is forthright. Okay, what does water do? It absorbs energy. Okay, all water is empaths. Okay, they feel. Okay, and they sense when something. Sometimes like my daughter, my mother, and my grandmother are all Scorpios, right? Okay, and normally you bring somebody a friend or something like that around Scorpios because they can sense the energy in that person. Okay.
Very intuitive.
They get a feeling about the nature of that person, and sometimes that person's good, and sometimes people are good, sometimes people are bad. But if a Scorpio don't like somebody, you need to run from that person. Because Scorpios damn near like everybody, okay. And if a Scorpio does, like Taurus are different, but if a Scorpio, especially Scorpio female, doesn't like somebody, you need to step back with caution because Scorpios damn near like everybody, and there's somebody they don't like. There's a damn good reason, and they can't always tell you why it's not. So I use my Scorpio women to actually get a feel of people.
I don't even have to meet you.
No.
Be in conversation with me about a person.
You pick up their energy. Yeah.
Let me experience you in some way. It doesn't have to
Mhm.
be in the physical, but I can pick up on things. And I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you. I
Mhm.
remember when Toya, no, it was after high school. She has a friend named Greg.
Mhm.
They talk about me all the time. Anyway, one of the things they talked about is, or he clocked me on my superpower being my superpower is my what? My opinion. People don't ask me, but I give you my opinion, and that's my superpower. And it's true. If I see something or I feel something and your
Mhm.
energy is just like
Yeah.
signaling I need to speak on it, I'm
Mhm.
speaking on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
And then
that's
I
true.
say, thank you. You can thank me later and walk away
Mhm.
as if I just gave them a gift. But it
doesn't always come
doesn't come
that way.
across that way. No, but
Well,
what I do.
well, the thing might be not be delivered the same way, because
Oh yeah, my delivery is a bit
Yeah, you're from you're from Jersey, so it happens. Okay.
it's gotten better, right?
It has gotten better.
I got three Scorpio. Well, actually, because my grandmother, she was 96 when she died. So I got how many generations of Scorpio women? Yeah, inside now.
That is a lot.
It's a lot.
Did you find yourself attracted to Scorpio women?
It's in my chart, so yeah. But they're all in my chart. They surround me.
Jamal said this is a wholesome conversation. Harsh delivery, D. I'm saying, but I've gotten better. My delivery has definitely gotten better. Okay, it really has. I'm more mindful.
That's not saying much. It's still not saying much.
What's your moon?
Yeah, what's your moon?
Taurus.
Oh, no wonder. Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yes, my moon is Taurus. My ascendant is Libra.
Ascendant Jim with them. Okay, that makes sense. It makes sense.
My Venus is Scorpio. My house.
Your ascendant is Libra, so you come off as judgmental.
Oh yes, I am very judgmental.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now it makes sense. Okay.
That's why on the first show I warned y'all, don't come for me. Don't do it.
But it's also why I say she douses my fire, because I be trying to burn brightly, and here she come like.
That's what she's supposed to do.
No, how are you supposed to burn?
No. You're supposed to.
Do let it burn. I do let her fire burn sometimes.
What happens to a fire that burns out of control?
It destroys.
It looks like
it destroys itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Destroys itself.
Yes. Yeah. That's why.
Yeah.
I think she finally learned that. Oh, look, that looks good on screen. Sorry. That's what she does.
I do. Mm-hmm. I do.
That double Leo, yeah.
All the time.
That's why you have a Scorpio for a mother, to keep you from destroying yourself.
Try. These days, I just let her.
She's still here.
She comes whimpering home, and it's like, I don't do the "I told you so's." I don't do any of that. I don't, because I know that it's humbling her, and it's humbling enough for her to even just be here. So what? I'm a noogie it in? No.
That's true.
No, you already know. So what would it serve for me to berate her because of her having to come home?
Yeah, well, I know what Leo's was. Like I said, I think Bugs Bunny said, if I do this, I get a whipping. Guess what? I do this.
That's her. That's her. Oh, wow. That's exactly how you were as a child.
Yes, she's a Leo. I do this.
You've been called Devin Downer.
Devin Downer.
I know. Can't we be dark? And yes.
Yeah.
I need to.
The Scorpios appear to be dark.
We are, though. We really are.
Until you see that party side of them.
That doesn't mean we're not dark, sweetie.
You're not dark.
I'm saying that's just. Oh, that's right. He's my age, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oopers.
It's okay.
Sorry about that, but that's how passionate I am about what I'm saying. It's like, I do know that I'm dark. I could be dark in the happiest situations. There's darkness lurking in the background. The beauty of aging and being a Scorpio is you are very aware. Like I know, and I know how to turn it off. And when I can't turn it off, I turn everything around me off, and I'm by myself. So I don't give that energy that I pick up off of other people. I don't want to give that to you. So I'll, isolate. Somebody talked about isolation earlier. I will isolate myself just so that you don't get any of this darkness, even at a club.
But that's what scorpions do. Scorpions burrow. They go beneath.
Absolutely.
And I always try to tell her that I can resonate with that because a lot of my placements are in the 8th house. So I have access to that darkness as well. But I think because I'm a Leo, people don't often pick up on that.
Yeah, because you're double Leo, so basically that flame is a little too bright for them to see it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm the kind of mom that'll simmer her down.
Well, you have to, otherwise, she might not be if you didn't. She might not be if you didn't. Yeah, she would have
I
been.
agree.
And my father's in Aries, so
oh my God! Oh my God! Oh, y'all would have made a good team, huh?
We would have gotten a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But
he'd have called you his road dog. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tried that now as an adult. Yeah, but we're gonna stop right there.
See, there you go. That's that Libra coming out, judging. All right.
Yeah, I own it. I absolutely own it. But I don't put out what I can't take. You can judge me. I'll hear you. If you're right, I'll tell you. Good on you. If you're wrong.
Well, you're not Scorpio's not as sensitive as Cancers, but you're sensitive.
Right.
Yeah.
I am sensitive, but you won't know that you've hurt me. You won't know that you've
not immediately. No, it'll come out though.
It'll come out, but you won't know what the trigger was. I'll come back to you and lay something on you, and you're gonna wonder where that came from, and I'm gonna leave you to think about where it came from.
And the stinger will leave the impression.
Absolutely.
Regardless.
Can I get an amen, D?
But D Scott's a fake Scorpio. He's like a Libra cusp.
Oh, that's Cassandra. Cassandra's a cusp.
23rd. Scott be trying to
claim
Scorpio. I think he's the
23rd. Yeah.
Yeah. 23rd of what? 23rd of what?
October. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's a Scorpio.
Yeah.
That is a cusp, and there is a difference, but
you get a little mixture, but yeah.
Hey, compassionate and callous.
Her mother's here too. Hi. When you enter my house, you say hi.
Put the H on my name either. Oh, he's the 22nd.
Oh, so you're still a Scorpio. It's still a cusp, but you're
a Libra.
You're Libra.
The sun goes into Scorpio.
Yeah.
That's why I be telling
you. I'm giving you all this love, D. I'm giving you all of this, but you do seem to understand. Like seriously, the things that he's saying resonate. So I'll give you that. But I really thought you were a Scorpio.
She thought you was gang. But BGS is
but your Gemini. Pronoun you identify as a Scorpio. See, that's different.
Yeah, she's the reason why I'm so into astrology in the first place.
Trying to figure me out.
No. Because you were into it, I got into it. Not because I was trying to figure you out. I wanted to figure myself out. Once I learned how deep astrology could go, I was like, oh, I can really get into who I am and why I'm this way and all that good stuff. But yeah, I said, my bad, Toya's mom.
That's right. When you enter this room and I'm on the screen, say hi to mom too.
Yeah, don't come in this house without speaking.
That's right. And take your shoes off. See, this is what I like when we keep it a little light and throw some jokey jokes in there.
Yeah, well, you're Scorpio. You're a Scorpio, that's for sure. Make everybody feel welcome.
Yeah. Did I tell you about the time one of the executives at my job said I was intense?
Yeah, you are though. Were they a Scorpio?
I don't know what he was, but we were at this
Hi Anwar.
This thing, and he was like, "You're intense," and I was like, "Okay."
You guys know Toya a bit. Do you think she's intense? Anybody else in chat think Toya's intense?
Fire, sun, fire, moon,
Thank
fire,
you,
rising.
Indigo.
How
Mhm.
am I not going to be intense? I'm
Yeah.
just saying. How
And
do
she
you not
she tries to tone it down for us, but you know, it
do?
comes
I
through.
try to get her to tone it down too.
Yeah. Well, she's in there with a room of men, so she tries to tone it down.
I do. I try. But I be burning.
Hmm.
I'm fiery.
When she driving, yes.
Oh yeah, the reckless stream. Yeah.
Sometimes I live stream on my commute.
Hmm.
And so they hear me cussing people out while I'm driving.
Yeah. I said
Wait, can I tell you
the
something
Jersey
else?
girl come out her when she's
See,
driving.
this is so funny to me because Toya thinks she a thug.
Oh boy.
Thug.
Okay.
Don't be laughing.
I just
Oh
want
boy.
y'all to know she is not a thug.
No, we know she's not a thug. Okay.
Okay.
She's a
Okay.
grammar Nazi. Grammar Nazis are not thugs. Okay.
Oh my God. When she told me that, she was like, Ma, you the only person that don't know. Everybody think I'm a thug. I was like, what?
Yeah, they know I'm a thug.
Oh my
No,
God.
but where'd you get that impression from that we think that you're a thug?
I'm joking when I
Okay.
say
Oh, okay.
She
I'm
seriously was
really-
telling me she a
no,
thug.
I'm
I'm like,
joking.
girl,
I'm joking. I
she
think
ain't
it's-
been raised in the streets. She ain't.
That's
No.
why I say it though, because it's
Yes,
obvious that
yeah.
I'm not.
Don't
you-
look.
Hey,
Don't talk about the bougie road rage.
I mean, how you? I mean, I've
Yeah.
never met a thug grammar Nazi. Okay?
What?
He
What?
said I never met a thug grammar Nazi.
Grammar Nazi.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Donnie Mac.
It's hard out there in Montclair. See, they do know you. Thank you. Ain't nothing thug about coming up in Montclair, please. And traveling the world. And oh, please.
Somebody don't talk about bougie road rage. That
Don't
is funny.
sleep.
I know that is funny.
Don't sleep. I know where the bodies are buried.
Oh my God. It even sounds funny. Like even the way she speaks, it's like, girl.
Mhm.
Ugh, girl.
Part of my shtick.
It's part of your
It's
shtick.
fine. It's fine.
Oh God. It's
fine.
funny to her mom. I just want to say it's funny
Hey,
to her
all
mom.
the pookies and ex thugs that be on my show or be in my chat, she knows she ain't no thug.
Exactly.
We got real ones.
Okay.
But
That
I-
them been through some things.
been-
right?
I
Yeah.
always enjoy talking to them. They always enjoy talking to me.
Yeah.
So, it works out.
Lord have mercy.
It works out.
Request to digress.
Yeah. Listen.
Let's move along to the next subject.
be-
Are there any women in the chat? It's all men.
Probably not. Cynical one is the only one.
Oh,
But I want to, before we get out of here, just say thank you to BGS for joining us.
yes, thank you.
It's always a pleasure when you come up on the stream, BGS.
Yeah, I'm a grandfather. I make y'all laugh.
Yeah, keep it light because again, the intensity can be a
Yeah, she's always fun around. I never get that from her. She's always
Okay.
fun around me.
Because you're a Gemini.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I made her. I
you
feed
make
her.
Yeah, you make the fire grow. You
Mm.
don't put it out. That's why.
that's a
That's-
great way of looking at it.
Hello. But yeah, so yeah, I always enjoy talking to you too because of that. But I am trying to be a little bit more lighthearted and
Yeah.
not so serious.
Yes.
But I think being an only child is really about that. You're so insular, you're so in your head
Mhm.
all the time.
Mhm.
And that's why it comes across as me being so intense, because I've already drilled something down in my brain before coming and talking to you about it. So whatever it is,
Here we go.
that's what happens. But that's
Yeah, that's true. Because you don't have a peer to bounce it off of and
No.
react to when you get.
Oh, I
you know,
thought that's what you did on here.
sometimes, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's different when you grow up that way, because if you, like, I grew up in a family of 5, okay, 5 kids, and that daily battle with your siblings, it does humble you, okay, it's got to, because
And I'm sure it gave you some character that I lacked until I got to college and had to be around folks.
when you have to diaper your baby sister at 7 years old, yeah, that
Oh,
Yeah.
and it's mom and pop work, you gotta pick up slack, so you gotta learn early.
Mhm.
I agree with that.
You worked and I came home and had a hot pocket and play with my dog.
Oh, well, that's like my kids. They're blessed because they grew up in a village. Because we had tons of people around us, aunts,
Yeah.
uncles, all that kind of stuff. So it helps, and it takes a lot of pressure off.
Wow.
Yeah.
That kind of puts it into perspective because with Toya, while she had other people, for the most part, it was always just she and I.
Yeah.
There was no village. And with it just being she and I, in order to put a roof over her head and food and clothes on her back, I had several jobs.
Yeah.
So she was alone a
lot. Yeah.
A lot. And so, having that village, I can't imagine what that was like. But she did, I don't want it to sound so grim because she did have her grandparents. And that meant a lot,
It does.
It meant a lot. It helped me, so that I could go out and work, so that I could take care of her. So, but I can't imagine what it would have been like having a village.
There's challenges, but the thing is, overall, it's better. Because with a village you get all these inputs, and sometimes not always good, and sometimes it's contrary to what you want. But the thing is, the kids will find what they need amongst all these people, so they're gonna get what they need.
Yeah, I did play out entire conversations days in advance, and I still do that. I've been having whole conversations in my head about the way things go, the way things went, what somebody could have meant, what somebody could have thought about what I said.
That's called being a woman. Women do that all the time.
Yeah,
that's being a woman.
Female Scorpios are different. At least for me, something comes across my mind like that. The first thing that comes out the other side is, I ain't got no time for that right now.
Because you run it through your feelings first.
Yeah, I've learned how to not stay in my feelings. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a challenge. Yeah,
it is a challenge. But again, I think I said this earlier. There's a beauty in aging, and I think you can attest to that. As you grow older, you begin to learn how to navigate things in a way that it's not going to consume you. It's not going to stick. You're going to filter out.
If you take time to learn, and some people get older and don't take time to learn, they keep repeating the same mistakes. And
that's true.
That's why wisdom and age are not the same thing.
Right.
I'm speaking to the wisdom and the age being the same thing.
It's been the same thing. Yeah.
In this conversation,
I know a whole bunch of folks where it ain't the same thing.
A whole heck of a lot.
Yeah, and I get some, because a bunch of guys in their 40s, and dude, you sound like you're 18. How come you haven't progressed? And that's one thing about men, young men in their middle ages that haven't had children. You can tell there's a difference. Okay, because they've never had to sacrifice. Okay. And then that's the same thing with females. If you never had a kid, you never had to really sacrifice. And with children, you have to learn patience. That's the one thing a child would teach is patience. Okay, because otherwise you kill them little suckers. Okay, if you didn't have patience. So, I want to kill this kid, but thing is, that's my baby. I can't kill it. So I have to sit with this and sit with this emotion and sit down and figure out how to get around it. Okay, and be patient.
While trying to teach them how not to trigger that emotion again.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. So, but the thing is, so it makes you able to have patience with other people outside your child. So it's a part of your development that a kid will bring, that a child will bring.
There are so many gifts that children give you that you don't even realize they're gifting you until,
Yeah.
I always say to Toya, I wouldn't be the person that I am today if I didn't have my daughter. Even when I did, it's just, there's so many benefits to it. How you deal with people at work, how you deal with people in the streets.
Yeah.
It's all, how you deal with your own child. It's the patience, it's learning how to talk people down. It's learning how to be appropriate. It's learning how to. It's so many things.
And how would it look if my child did the same thing that I'm doing right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're talking about parents that really have that, because a lot don't. It can go either way, but right now we are talking about the
Yeah,
same
and,
thing.
and,
You have
and
the
the biggest
wherewithal to know this.
and the biggest thing, because I got siblings that don't have children. The biggest thing it teaches you is how to see your parents. Is because you're sitting in the same shoes that they are.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I get it. Okay, I see. Okay, I was angry that my mother or my father did this, such and so, but say, oh, now that I have a kid,
I get
then
it.
I get it. Like I was watching
Again,
my son
beauty.
copying some of the stuff that I did that I taught him as a parented him. I see him parenting his sons the same way. I said, oh, okay, that's when you know. My nephew who I had for like 4 or 5 years, right, and he was visiting, okay, and his son did something, so he sat him down in the corner and gave him a book and made him read. And that's what I used to do. I said, wait a minute, when I did it to you, you hated it. He said, yeah, but it works.
Reading wasn't punishment for my daughter. She grew up with a house full of avid readers. So even punishment, I figured she would pick up a book and read and be just fine if she's on punishment. So yeah. So,
if you got a bunch of kids running around and having a good time and they get rambunctious, they don't want to sit down. Okay, no, here's a book.
It never bothered me. I
that I read
by myself with my book.
Well, see, you see, you were only child, so that made a difference, right?
That's the problem. I like being by myself.
If you got 4 or 5 kids around you and they're all rambunctious, then that's a difference when you have to tone it down. Yeah.
I
attract Scorpios. Pray for me. But I love me a good Leo. Yeah, I pray for anybody who
Scorpios are fine. Yeah,
I love y'all.
Love us in a romantic way.
The only problem with Scorpios is, okay, you got to understand Scorpios are going to have a huge friend group, okay? So you're going to have to learn to be around people because Scorpios will attract people. That's not you?
No, they attract people, but they also remove themselves because they don't like a lot of hangers on.
She got a Taurus moon, so she's going to cut some people out.
He said, take away Toya's Nintendo.
She wouldn't care. She'd pick up a book.
I was never much of a gamer.
Honestly. I'm the gamer till this day. I play video games. Got a PlayStation downstairs and a Nintendo upstairs in my bedroom.
Listen to a podcast. So, yeah.
What type of women are Leo men attracted to?
I don't know.
Leo men. Normally Leo men like, well, they do like Scorpios because Scorpios are normally people. So, and Leos like to be around people. So,
I could not do a Leo man. I tried.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I tried. I really, really need. Yeah, you got to be super duper strong. Like you got to very strong.
Yeah, but you're attracted to Leo men. Yeah, but you're attracted to Leo men because they are fun.
Yeah, a lot of Leo men. I try now when I find out
but then we're talking about then. Okay, you learn. Now when you're younger, guess what? I'm going.
None of that matters when you're young. You're gonna make it work when you're young.
But it is. Back then when you're young, you're going. Okay. You say, oh, wait a minute. Okay, that's not a good thing. You know, I'm attracted. Everything that glitters not gold. Yeah,
for sure.
In case anybody missed it, the BGS tax is in effect. I want to say thank you to D. Scott for the Cash App. So if you would like to donate, you are more than welcome to via Cash App right there. We're gonna make an actual email and everything to really flesh out this show because we're gonna do this more regularly and come to you with content every week, but we're still trying to figure out what you guys want to hear from us as a mother-daughter duo so that we can really bring you the content you're looking for,
or an older woman, younger woman perspective. It doesn't have to be the mother-daughter dynamic.
It's how I think most guys want to know one, how women think and how women process their feelings. Okay, because
Mhm.
that's what men don't understand. I think a lot of women don't know how to do it either. So they feel, but they don't know why they feel. Okay, they
It's a
just
very relative
Yeah.
thing. Like
That
it's
just
not a
made
one
me
size fits all. Like what works for me ain't gonna work for her.
yeah. But it's yeah, that's true. But the thing is, um, when because I've had to work with women, and the thing is that especially black women, one is the hardest thing to do is get them to tell the truth. Yeah.
Get
Because
women to tell the truth.
yeah, for especially black women, yeah, that narrative because they have a narrative in their head. Okay, and to get them to be honest, you got to sift through all that stuff. Yeah, you know, 'cause, come on, baby. 'Cause my thing's a baby bullshit. Okay, come on, tell me the truth. And I start asking them why, and they can't answer the why. They avoid it to eventually get down to the bedrock. Okay, now we can come.
I'm
I'm
re-
notes.
Hmm?
You
Huh?
I was gonna
got
ask you to write down what BGS said would be good to talk about.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm doing.
yeah,
But
yeah.
now
Got it,
you
got
so
it.
Because
excited.
well, you know, the biggest thing, and you know, I don't know if you guys want to talk about this stuff. Is this who got who pregnant and who decides who's going to have a kid and all this kind of stuff. And a lot of women want to deflect from that because they don't want to take the responsibility of making a decision. They want to push that off on somebody else. Okay,
With
I'm just
having a child?
or basically bringing a child into this world, right? Because they want to shift the decision to actually bring the child into this world onto somebody else. Okay, I'm just
Somebody else like who? I don't
like
think I'm
like the father.
understanding.
My, you know, if he hadn't wooed me and yada yada yada, this child wouldn't be here. I said,
Oh
okay,
my
what
God,
happened?
I've never experienced that.
I'm not saying you, but I'm saying this
No,
happened.
no. I mean, even in my
Oh, I hear it a lot.
circle, like I've never
I
experienced
hear it a
that.
lot. I hear it a lot. Okay. I hear it a
Wanting the man to make the
No,
decision on
no,
whether
no,
they
no,
have
no,
it.
no, no. They've made the decision. They don't want to
Hmm.
admit they made the decision. Okay. In other words, I'm
Oh
just this
wow,
innocent
no.
bystander, and he just threw a cup outside and hit me with it, and here I am pregnant. Okay. And he won't take it. He won't take responsibility for yada yada yada. Okay. Said,
That's speaking to a certain demographic.
a large demographic, like
Okay.
90%. Yana Van Zant goes through that all the time. Okay.
And
She
okay, now that's somebody that speaks to me. I grew up alongside her work.
okay. Yeah.
Iyanla speaks to me.
Yeah, that's how come I came up. She helped me come up with the thing that Kevin uses all the time, which is sign language, right? She's the one that helped me come up with it.
Shame, insults, guilt, and the
It
need to
need
be
to be
right.
right. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
Yeah, I think I've read all of her books. Iyanla makes sense to me as a Black woman.
yeah, she
She makes me own my shit
which is
in a way that I can receive.
which is the female red pill. You all love her and hate her at the same time.
Mm, female red pill. I don't
Hmm.
know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
She forces you to see reality, and that's what she forces you to see. That's what the red pill is, and she
Mm-hmm.
does that. In fact, she just said it.
I've
Like,
never heard that before. The red pill is.
you ever see The Matrix?
I'm not into any of that. No. No.
Go back and Toya.
I know, I know,
Toya.
I know.
I can
The,
get the lesson another
it's,
way. It doesn't have to be through the matrix.
sit her down, okay? Sit her down. Have her watch it.
You
In
see how
fact,
she's shaking her head right now?
yeah, I know that's the Taurus coming out there. I don't like this. Yeah, that's the Taurus moon. I don't like this. All right, little baby bull. Come on now.
You telling me that I can only learn the lesson through the
No, no.
matrix?
No, but it is a good starting point.
Unless you want to read the Blood Matrix, you can find the book.
Of course, I'm a librarian.
Yeah, but the book it's a rare book. In fact, Master Yadi spoke
Library
about
girl, not a
it. No,
librarian.
no. Basically, the Blood Matrix is something that was written back like 300-400 years ago, right? It's very rare, okay? And they don't. You have to be in certain circles to actually find a copy. Okay, that's where she got it from, and she made it into a comic book that was actually made into a movie. So the only way to get it
The author.
firsthand is through the movie.
I forget her name.
So Sophia Stewart. In fact, I think she's a Jersey
Mama
girl.
taking the red pill. does that mean?
Stay
Yeah.
out of the chat, Mom.
Okay,
So
I'll explain to you real quick. Okay, the blue pill is in the Matrix, right? Is the identity and reality that the world gives you, that society gives you, right? Okay. The red pill is stop. In other words, stop and see what the reality actually is. Okay, other
Mhm.
than what you've been given, other than what you've been told. That's the red pill. So, in other words, the narrative that society gives you, that society has to give you to keep order. Okay. There's a certain narrative they have to give you. You have to, you got to be married at 21. You got to have
Mm.
21 children with a white picket fence, blah, 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 right? But they don't tell you why. But the red pill says, okay, this is the underlying reason why things have to be done. Okay. That's the red pill. That's reality. That's
the
the
red
matrix.
pill is literally stepping outside of the herd and looking at the herd. Like,
Looking
what
at
is
her.
it?
Yeah.
Guilty.
Yeah. And the black pill is even deeper than that. But that's, that's for
Yeah.
people at a little higher level.
Right. That's behind the paywall.
I'm beginning to see. Well, a lot of people that are in my circle are afraid to come behind the paywall is because they don't want to see the black pill side.
No, they're comfortable where they're at, and
I
that, you got to be all right with
blame
that too.
I don't blame
Yeah,
them.
yeah, me
I
neither.
don't blame them. That's some, yeah.
Well,
But today, no, Toya.
yes. Okay, you cut out. I think he was about to tell me to sit you down and watch that movie. But anywho, hey,
Shake your head. Come on, sit down.
yeah, I knew that's what you were saying. UFO Kamikaze 1, Generational Beauties. LXST, do you talk to yourself too? Your favorite Gemini acolyte? I talk to myself all the time. Once you see, you can't unsee.
Everybody
What's
has
that? The Matrix?
self talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody has self talk, and I teach men that little voice inside yourself, inside your head, is your anima. Okay, that's connected, and you need to listen. You need to have a conversation with her. I have it all the time.
Yep. Shout out to that inner voice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, BGS, if you
Yes,
have
ma'am.
any suggestions for things that you want to see us talk about, you can always tell me behind the scenes. I look
Mhm.
forward to your input and your feedback. But I'm mostly grateful that you came up and joined us today. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
I'm good.
She's good. Oh, really? Okay.
You think I'm bad with the attention span? I'll be ready to leave. She was ready to leave already 20 minutes ago. But funny story, before we came here, we went to go get ice cream.
Mm.
And I didn't tell her where we were going. I just got her in the car because I knew if I told her how far we were going, that she wouldn't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
But see, look at her. She's not even paying attention right now.
It's your story. I was there.
What the thing is with a Taurus moon, you like what you like and you know what you don't like, and that's the problem with a Taurus moon.
LXST.
LXST, my mom says thank you. He said he made sure to take his shoes off at the door.
Reset. Reset. So yeah, she taking me to get ice cream. That's our little
We love
thing.
ice
We
cream.
love ice cream. For me is like chocolate for most people.
Okay.
It's like crack for
because
me.
I don't like chocolate. But she
Okay.
took me to this place and we're driving, and in my head I'm like, okay,
Where the hell we going? Huh?
where the fuck is she taking me? Like, we're going to get ice cream. Are we going to Iceland? Like,
Mhm.
what's going on here?
25-minute drive.
For ice cream.
And that's a long drive for ice cream. Okay.
Thank you so much.
See, but to me,
Thank you
it's
so
not
much.
because I love ice cream and
Thank you
I
so much.
I know, but the thing
Was
is,
it worth it?
I don't know. I haven't had the ice cream yet.
You tried some.
To me, I'm comparing it to Cold Stone Creamery. I'll tell you when I eat my ice cream after dinner.
okay, all
But
right.
the
all right.
25
So look forward
minutes.
to that.
It's got to be extraordinary.
But you know what I said to her, BGS?
Do you like ice cream enough to eat it
"See,
during
she's not
winter?
even paying
Yes.
attention." I said, I'm doing this because I get to spend a little quality time with my mother while we go get something
Yes.
we both like.
And I had to shut up because she's right. I did. I shut up. I was like, "Oop." How do you come back from that? You don't. You shut up and take it.
There's always a method to my madness. Always.
I eat ice cream all year round.
Yes.
Yes.
I do. There's ice cream. There was already ice cream in the freezer when we left to go get ice cream, just so you know.
3.5 gallons.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Child, yes.
Yeah, we are an ice cream eating family. You cannot besmirch ice cream in this house.
I love ice cream. So good. I think it's the only sweet that I keep in the house for myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm more of a savory girl. I like food. I'm a foodie. Anyway, I digress. Flavors are for me now, because the world is an oyster, there's a gazillion different flavors. Today I got vanilla banana, which is like banana pudding because it has vanilla wafers in it. Delicious. But
Mhm.
before all the fancy flavors, I would just do strawberry and coffee as my favorite ice cream flavors. And cookies and cream. Oh my God.
Yeah. I like
And root beer floats.
I like vanilla with sprinkles. I like coffee. I like butter pecan. I like the one I usually get from there is cinnamon toast crunch. I really like
I need
that
my
one.
pills for that. Lactose intolerant.
And we don't
Oh,
have
boy.
that problem.
I don't know about you, but I got something.
I
It
don't
ain't gonna
have a
stop me
lactose
from eating ice
intolerance.
cream. Let me tell you.
So
Well, you haven't got to that point yet. You'll get it.
all right.
Cookie
Don't
dough.
wish that on me.
Hey,
BJ.
it's called genetics.
He's
okay?
already wishing glasses on me.
And
Please don't-
she said I said the same thing on your age too, baby. You'll get there.
No,
Don't
she
worry
thinks
about
she exempt from aging.
I
And it's
am.
like the
Okay.
more you absorb and nestle into it, the easier it'll be to digest.
And the thing is, if you're still here, when you get past a certain age, it's a blessing to be here. So
Yeah.
you don't mind aging,
I'm
because
be
the
here for a
alternative
long
is
time.
much, much worse.
Well, I ain't at the age where I'm grateful to be here. I don't feel like I'm that old yet. Like, what age is that, BGS?
When you get, I say anything past 50 is bonus, okay? Because so many people are gone. You
Oh,
start
that's
losing
sad
people.
to me. Okay.
Because a lot of people are gone.
I agree with that.
So it's a blessing. So I don't take it lightly.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So I don't
More
mind. So
like-
yeah. So I say you get to be, you're old. Yeah. I hope to get older.
That's right.
So it's a blessing.
Indeed.
Okay, guys. So don't forget to send suggestions if you have any. I would
Okay.
love to hear and have feedback from you guys.
Yeah.
Put it down in the comments section, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for receiving me for a second week in a row. See how long I can keep this up.
You're the only person that can actually match your energy. Let's put it that way.
Say that again.
You're the only person that can match your energy.
I'm the only person that can match her energy?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know that though.
Oh, yeah. We see it.
Okay.
Thank you, BGS.
You have to be around us and her without you. Then you say, oh,
Yeah.
I get it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go.
A
We
lot
hear
of
that all the
times-
time too.
She doesn't really consider who I am outside of her sometimes.
Of course.
And so I have to remind her, like, who I am with you is not who I am when I'm not with
Yeah,
you.
because you're still her baby. Okay?
Yes.
You're still her baby.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard to get out of that mode. Yeah, but you're still my baby. So I don't see you the same way. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of that.
A lot of that. I know that. And my daughter's what?
Some
She's
of that.
40. Yeah, I see that a lot.
I know that she's going to be completely different when she's outside of me.
Yeah,
I
but you
know
don't.
that.
But you don't see it
It's a whole different
when you
thing.
look
I
at
see
her.
it when I watch these videos. I see it when I peep in on shows that I see who she projects. And I just be sitting back here like,
Yeah, I know her. That's my baby. I said I know her.
yeah, I know her in a way that you guys
You don't.
know.
Yeah, because you see her as your baby. Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
How do I
It's all
know?
good. It's so normal. It's so
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah, you
not a
got
competition.
three kids and 5 grandkids. I know. And
Oh, bless you.
a
You got
niece
5
and
grandbabies.
a niece and a nephew. I call them my baby.
I just
And
have a
they're in their
nephew.
40s.
Look at that.
Mhm. You are blessed.
All right,
Mhm.
BGS. When I
All
come
right.
we gonna hang out, okay?
All right. Peace out.
All right, peace.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Thanks again for coming through and hitting that like button. We'll see you again next week. Y'all know how I like to end my streams. Peace, ease, and whatever you please. Thanks for watching.
Ooh, it's hot.